Welcome to the Northwest Football Show. I'm Josh Robinson, the head coach, and we're here to talk about a very busy night and a very good night for Northwest High School as we end up winning the football game 48-21. But the other side is we had a lot of big things and important things going on that night as well, with it being senior night. Got delayed from earlier in the year due to weather. We were able to have that before the game, and then we had homecoming at halftime. So a lot of things going on, and a lot of people at Northwest High School put a lot of work into that, and we appreciate all those people. We also had our faculty tailgate and quarterback club officer tailgate. So it was a busy night overall, and fortunately they got to see a really good football game. Starting off with our offense, we were able to move the ball and execute. You know, enough can't be said. Some people say, oh, maybe we should beat LaFayette, all that kind of stuff that people tend to scoreboard watch. But again, we were coming off a loss to Heritage that we did not play very well at all. And LaFayette has played Ridgeland, and Ridgeland played Lafayette hard. So if you want to do the whole score comparison thing, then Lafayette could definitely have given us trouble. But I was really proud of our guys and our coaching staff preparing our guys to come out and really put this game away early. And our offense was very efficient on the night. Coach Sampson's staff did a really good job putting a game plan together, and then Gavin and our O-line and running backs and wide receivers all did a really good job on the night executing it. Gavin was 12 for 15 for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Gavin's played really well for us. As he releases that ball on time and completes passes, he's just a really talented player, and we're fortunate to have him. Rushing-wise, really good night. We had several people carry the ball, but Cameron had the best night with 10 carries for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, Cameron did an outstanding job. He ran really hard, but we also got to mention the O-line during that. They're not going to get the stats. Nobody's going to hear of those guys, but they were fantastic during the game. Reagan Gazaway actually was our second leading rusher with 6 carries, 17 yards. He's a guy for us that's really contributed on special teams. Came to us kind of late in the summer from another school and has really embraced special teams and does a good job for us. Then several other names I'm just going to throw out here of things that we did. Jay Santiago was able to carry the ball. Caden Ramsey had a carry for 2 yards and a touchdown. Damian Tostada and Max Harrison and Sebastian Johnson were all able to carry the ball for us. So really good night when a lot of people get those touches and we get some experience. Receiving-wise, our guys came back and off of probably their worst game of the year and played one of their best games of the year. Really good job by those guys running our routes, knowing our concepts, and then catching the ball. Kendrick Douglas had 2 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown. Kinkin's basically back. He's still has some bumps and bruises associated with the knee, but he's back. He has that confidence in it. He's playing really well for us. And then a very good night by Corbin Bates. He had 4 catches for 53 yards. Really good by Corbin. He plays a lot of different positions, and a lot's asked of him mentally, and he did a good job of securing the ball for us. Cal Manning had 3 catches for 53 yards and a touchdown. Cal's kind of been that consistent body throughout the year that's going to catch 2 to 4 passes and produce for us. He's a very intense guy, blocks really hard, and we definitely appreciate that. Evan Jones had 2 catches for 28 yards. Evan is a very explosive young man that as he develops more and more consistency, he's going to be even better for us. And then Logan Stafford had a catch for 9 yards and a touchdown, and we'll mention him in a little bit. Guys were really excited for him and the work he's put in for him to be able to score a touchdown. At this time, let's take a look at the first half highlights. Here we are entering the field through our tunnel, and we appreciate the cheerleaders and the volunteers in the end zone. A lot goes into a Friday night for sure, and we go to kickoff. Near Martinez kicks it deep to one of the best players in the region, probably overall a really good athlete, been a running back for several years at LaFayette, plays a little bit of quarterback this year. Here he is on the carry, and Caden Ramsey gets some pressure on him, and then Sam Crossan and Adrian Madrigal and I believe Dominique Johnson all come in and get a tackle. There's some pressure by Caden Ramsey, and Cade Parker almost comes up with the interception. They're trying to run the counter, and Lucas Amos runs it down from the backside, keeps them hemmed up inside the 5-yard line. So we're going to start the game with good field position, a good job by our defense and our kickoff team. Young man gets a good punt off that we're not able to return, gets it up near the 40. We come back on offense, going in motion here, and our offensive line did an outstanding job, and Cameron Collins basically goes untouched all the way into the end zone to put us up 6-0 as we add the extra point with Sam Crossan snapping, Will Wade holding, and Neary Martinez kicking the extra point. Here's Neary again. Did a good job for us on kickoffs all night long. Our kickoff team did a good job of adjusting. Really good tackle by Sam Crossan, who's become was already a good special teams player, probably a great special teams player at this point. Good tackle for a loss by Lucas Amos as they try to throw the bubble route, and we got a lot of guys in the way there. We're able to kind of muddy the water, the run in the tunnel, and Caden Ramsey does a good job of trailing that down from behind and gets a tackle, and several other Bruins get in on it. We make them punt again. Punter's a really good player. This is his worst punt on the night. I think it ended up being around 20 yards, but he had a few that were around the 50-yard mark, mostly in the air. Good job blocking on the perimeter right there. I think I see Corbin Bates, and I saw Cameron Collins getting out there. Good job by our offensive line again, as Cameron's not getting touched, still 5 or 6 yards deep. That's when it really tells you, that your O-line's doing a good job. Good throw right here by Gavin down to Kendris as he gets inside the 15-yard line, and then we end up scoring again with Cameron. He scores his second touchdown. Again, our O-line's playing really well. We got 6 guys up there we rotate through at this point in the year, and they're all doing a fantastic job. As Neary adds the extra point, we're up 14-0. They're motioning out, trying to get us to bring pressure, and Caden Ramsey does a good job of dropping into it. They're running the counter. I'd see Dominic Johnson, Adrian Madrigal, I believe Lucas Amos all in on that tackle, trying to run the wheel route. Caden Ramsey does a good job of covering it out of the backfield. We end up getting a little pressure, and he sails it out of bounds as they get off another kick that is a little bit shorter than normal. Takes a great roll for us. Fortunately, as we get the ball back inside the 45, I believe we had a penalty on the first play, and Gavin has a good ball, good protection out here as we get across the field, and King Kim makes a lot of people miss as he gets down to about the 25-yard line. Come back and throw another fast screen to Evan Jones. He does a great job of running here as he gets inside. Good job blocking. Unfortunately, one of us was called for a hold, so it's brought back, but then we are able to throw a seam route to King Kim. Really good job protecting again, and throw by Gavin as he completes the pass. And Neary adds the extra point, and really quickly, less than 9 minutes into the game, we're already up by 3 touchdowns, which is good. This is a team that played Heritage very well a few weeks ago, so we knew it would be a battle, and our guys really came out and kind of responded. Good tackle there by our guys. I believe Colton Bagley was in on the tackle. We get a lot of pressure. He ends up having to not being able to step in the pass, and this time Cade Parker catches it and returns it for a touchdown. I believe it's his first defensive touchdown in high school, so that's really good for him. And Neary adds the extra point as we go up 28-0 with just a little less than 3 minutes. Run the option, and I see Sam Crossan flying out there, and several other guys go. We're getting some pressure here. I believe that's Tony Bernecki. Makes him throw the ball a little low. Again, we're preventing him from really stepping into his passes. Dominic Johnson with a really good tackle there as he flows and sees the line. Good job by our D-line. Our linebackers get a lot of stats because partially because our defensive line does such a great job. Kid gets off a really great kick, and Kyle Cummins fields that. What a good thing that is to not let that ball bounce. Then we throw the ball deep to Corbin Bates here. Good catch by him. I believe we ended up turning the ball over there, so we come back on defense, and we're rallying to the ball. Our guys are playing really hard, really like where we're at. We're up 28-0. Here, Caden Ramsey does a good job of coming off the edge and creating some pressure. Our secondary's there if he had have completed it. Good job by Lucas. I'd like for him to keep running just a little bit more. Good fit. We end up missing a couple of tackles, but a good job by our guys rallying and flying to the ball. They motion to empty here, and Caden Ramsey in on the tackle. They're unsure where to go because of our slanting and our moving, and here they're throwing the fast screen out on the edge. Good job by Kyle Cummins being the first on contact. Then we had Cade Parker and Sam Crossan there. This is a 4th down. They went for on their own 35, and Sam breaks through and ends up getting a tackle for a loss. Here we throw the hitch route to Corbin. Good catch by Corbin. Good throw by Gavin as he completes that. running the trap as we get through, and good job by our O-line securing their blocks. Cameron gets about 10 yards before anybody touches him, so he gets down to around the 10-yard line, and here we're throwing it through the perimeter. I believe that's Cal Manning catches the ball and gets inside the 5, and then ultimately Caden Ramsey's able to score a touchdown as he crosses the goal line to send us up. We end up missing the extra point as we're up 34-0 here, and we come back and we're kicking the ball on the grounds. They got a few good returns, and we ended up possessing the ball, and Gavin throws a good ball to Cal there, and he makes a whole lot out of a really short throw, which is always good. Turn a short throw into an explosive play. They had scored on a counter play. We didn't fit right, so they were able to score on it, but ultimately they come back right after that touchdown, throw another interception, and good play by Kyle as he gets, I believe, his first high school interception there, and then Cameron runs down inside the 10-yard line, and we throw a fast screen out here to Logan Stafford. He makes a good move and makes somebody miss and is able to score a touchdown for him, so that's really good. All our young men were excited. Logan's put in a lot of hard work, and we're proud of him for sure, and Neary adds the extra point to go up 48-7 with 6 minutes left in the first half. So at this point, we don't want to embarrass anybody, that type of deal, and we end up recovering this one, and we made the conscious decision we're going to run the ball no matter what the results are, and we end up turning it over on downs, but our defense does a good job of getting a stop. They get out there, Jace Patterson, they shifted late. Jace gets out there, we apply a lot of pressure. I think Sam gets called for maybe a late hit there, but ultimately we applied a lot of pressure, and after a first down we were able to make them punt again, and Kyle does a good job of getting a good return here, and we get down, he dances around, gets down to about the 10-yard line, 15-yard line, somewhere in that area. Ultimately, we run the ball a couple more times and let the half run out as Northwest goes into halftime, 48 and LaFayette 7. At this time, let's take a look at our corporate sponsors. Welcome back to the Northwest Bruin Football Show. Let's talk a little bit about our defense. We didn't play well against Heritage, but we didn't play terrible. We had a few breakdowns in the secondary. We knew, and we know, a lot of teams from here on out, because we're really good at stopping the run, they're going to run the ball on us, but they're going to attempt more passes. And that kind of comes down to a whole unit. Sometimes the secondary is isolated, and when another team may have success, and the blame kind of gets cast to them, but really knowledgeable football people know that it's across the board. We blitz linebackers. They've got to get pressure. Our D-line has to go to the right gaps. They have to be able to get some pressure while also still being able to stop the run. So it works across the board, and I was really proud of how our guys practiced this week in preparation for this game. I thought we were going to play well. Unfortunately, we did. Defensive line, we had a lot of bodies get in. We're going to say a lot of names here. Levi Crawford continues to be a really energetic player for us. Ended up with a tackle and 2 quarterback pressures. Again, we didn't play a ton of defensive plays. I think we played throughout the game total like 42. That's really good. That's a testament to those guys able to get 3 and outs and turnovers, which led to that. Everett Williams did a good job playing technique for us, got in a lot of gaps, caused a lot of havoc up front, occupied a couple of blockers. Tony Bernecki had another game where in limited plays, because we were keeping our rotation going, had 2 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and 2 quarterback pressures, as well as a fumble recovery. So really good night by Tony. Continues to fill up the stat sheet across the board. Really proud of what he's doing, and we'll definitely need him to perform like this the rest of the year. Adrian Madrigal, kind of consistent guy for us in limited plays, ended up with a tackle, a pass breakup, and a quarterback pressure. Adrian's just Mr. Consistent. We can really rely on him to play hard, go to the right gap, and then he's really slippery. He makes a lot of plays for us. Some other guys that got in and contributed, Colton Bagley had 4 tackles, most of those coming on special teams. Does a great job for us, and as he continues to mature, he's going to be a really good player for us. Talon Edwards, Logan Klein, and Wahid Arnold all came in and played a good number of plays and were able to contribute on the night. So it was really good. And then we're going to talk about our linebackers here. Had a really good night, not a ton of stats. Again, we didn't play a lot of plays, so that's a good thing, but we're very productive with what they had. Caden Ramsey continues to improve in the technique part of it, and had a really good night with 4 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and 2 quarterback pressures. Really productive. And a lot of people are starting to run away from him more and more throughout the year, so his opportunity is going to be limited. He's making the most out of it. Lucas Amos had another big night with 3 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss. So really good job by Lucas, making a lot of plays for us on the perimeter as people start going to his side a little bit more. And Jace Patterson backs up both those positions, plays a huge role on special teams throughout, does a really good job for us. He had a tackle for a loss, and a caused fumble. So really productive night out of him. We were glad to get him some more snaps, because we'll definitely need him more and more as the season draws to an end here. Dominic Johnson had 6 tackles, a tackle for a loss. Dominic is just a really talented player, takes on a lot of blocks, really strong young man, really smart for us too, and we're proud of where he's progressed as well. Sam Crossan ended up with 9 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss, with a couple of those tackles coming on special teams. We've seen some of those highlights. We'll see a few more. He's just a really talented player, plays at a really fast speed, has an extra tempo that he picks up on a Friday night. Defensive back-wise, really good night by our guys. They put a lot of pressure and gotten a lot of people open this year, and people that just watched LaFayette in this game would say, oh, well, our guys didn't play that good. Well, they did. Again, LaFayette's had people open all year, completed big plays down the field, was able to pass the ball and score. I think they scored 21 points in the second quarter on Trine. And Trine's a really good football team, and played well against other people and had a big lead against Ridgeland. And so I was really proud of our defensive backs, as Cade Parker had 5 tackles and an interception. He returned for a touchdown, again in limited plays. Kyle Cummins had 3 tackles and an interception. Multiple interception game, that's going to give our offense more possessions, and that really helps our whole team emotion as we play here. Raven Foster had 1 tackle, didn't have a lot of opportunities for the ball to come to him. Still did a fantastic job of covering one of their best players in number 1. And then Walker Jones had a good return from his previous week, as he ended up with 2 tackles. So really good night by our defense. A lot of guys flying the ball, and we got a lot of guys with snaps. At this time, let's take a look at the second half highlights. Here we are starting the second half. We're playing a handful of starters, not many, but we want to get a lot of our young guys in. Again, it's valuable time for them to become a better football players. A lot of them are going to be involved next year, and I believe that's Jace Patterson causing a fumble, and I believe Damian Tostada almost comes up with it, but LaFayette does. They end up kicking from their own end zone, and this is one of the best punts I've seen in a very long time from where the young man kicked it. But great job by Chance fielding it, does a good job of getting a good return. Doesn't need to swim with the ball, but still a good return for us as we get up inside the 50-yard line. We possess the ball, and again, we've got a ton of guys in that we're trying to get experience. We're going to rotate through. All these guys work really hard. Cade Mitchell on the catch, Max Harrison on the throw, and here we're throwing the ball to one of our freshmen, Sebastian Johnson, going to be a really good player for us. And they've got their starters in, so we're proud of our guys for doing a good job. We got to stay on our blocks a little longer. That's part of getting older and getting more experience as we drive down and we end up getting stopped. We're not really throwing the ball down the field, and here they're running the ball on the perimeter. I believe that was a tackle by several of our young secondary players, which is good. We have in here, I believe that is Landon Bishop, who's in and does a good job of flowing and tackling. And here they're running the counter. Damian Tostada is there with, I believe, Andrew Chambers. We almost come up with a fumble with Wahid Arnold, but they were kind of squirted away from us, and they were able to get the tackle. There's Braden Hampton setting the edge, and Wahid Arnold getting in on the tackle as he's pursuing the ball from his defensive end spot. Landon Bishop on the pressure again, and our secondary, you can see they're young guys that did a really good job for us. I believe they ended up scoring on that particular possession. They kick off to us, and ultimately we ended up punting, and we had one of our non-kickers punt the ball, and they ended up blocking it, returning it for a touchdown. But ultimately we end up winning the game with Northwest 48 and LaFayette 21. At this time, let's take a look at our corporate sponsors. Welcome back to the Northwest Football Show, and again, we want to congratulate all the girls on homecoming, all our alumni. Thank you for coming back and supporting the Bruins. The homecoming went really well from what I was told. Again, we're in at halftime, so none of us are able to see it. Congratulations to Maggie Brooker, as she was voted homecoming queen for this year. I know that's a big moment for her and her family, and all the girls. You know, it's an honor to be recognized by your student body as a person and be on the homecoming court. So we congratulate them. As we go forward to this next week, we have a really tough game against Calhoun High School. Their record's not maybe a typical Calhoun record, but they're a really good football team. They've played a lot of 6A, 7A, or I'm sorry, 5A, 6A teams, and have come up on the short end of those. It's going to be a challenge. They're really talented on both sides of the ball and have a really good coaching staff. So it's going to be a big night as we travel to Calhoun. We've scrimmaged them for years, so I'm hoping that helps with the mental mindset of not being maybe a little more familiar with them as an opponent. We hope that everyone comes out. It's going to be a big game. It's going to play a huge part in how the region shakes out as we approach the playoff time. We appreciate your support and hope to see you out the rest of the year. Until next week, this is Josh Robinson with Northwest Football.